How do you market an intimate, back to basics reset for Spider-Man, only to drop him into a movie where he side-scrolling hallway brawls with the Hulk and dodging ninja assassins run by Damage Control? It's a bizarre tug-of-war between a tight, lonely character study and the relentless machinery of corporate universe building. I'm unpacking how Spider-Man Brand New Day delivers the best visual action of the MCU trilogy while simultaneously suffocating under its own hype. I want to be honest, like, when I first started hearing about Spider-Man Brand New Day, I was just kind of baffled. It's a Spider-Man movie where he teams up with Punisher against the Hulk, and for some reason, the Hand is there. That's the Daredevil villains. And we have Sadie Sink, who, I won't spoil it here, who she's playing. It seems like it's part of the marketing of this. The opening of this, I was in love. Like, you have this like immediate hook where it's like a rapid fire gauntlet of classic low tier rogues like Scorpion and Boomerang, where he's fighting them in New York. It really does feel like the Spider-Man we've been waiting for all these years. He's no longer in space fighting people. He's at a ground level, taking on bank robbers and working with the police. And Destin Daniel Cretton, he does a fantastic job directing this. This is probably the best looking Spider-Man movie we've had since the Raimi movies. He does a good job of keeping it grounded. And even like the swinging and the movements, it's very reminiscent of like the Insomniac Spider-Man games. It's very dynamic. And I've heard that he was trying to do some practical web swinging like in the streets. I don't know if I caught that. I don't know if they went ahead with that. I remember the previous director said that he tried it and it didn't look good. So maybe they scrapped it, but maybe it is in there. But it feels more grounded, less weightless CGI. It's more dynamic. It's got more personality. And even like some of the camera work in it is like very unique. Some unique like camera turning effects, especially with Spider-Man's fight with the Incredible Hulk. It has like this hallway fight where it's going down the hallway and like twisting the camera as he's like trying to dodge the Hulk getting him. I thought it's like really well done, very well directed. And speaking of the Hulk, they bring back the savage Incredible Hulk. There's like another instance where he's fighting the Hand and like the camera flips upside down while Peter clings onto the ceiling, making the attackers appear above him to sort of disorient the viewer and sell Peter's mutated spatial awareness. I thought it's just very, very well done. He was definitely the right choice to direct a Spider-Man movie. So all this is in the background is the fallout from Doctor Strange's spell carrying over into like Act 1. And Peter, he's like in a solitude and cold, cramped Queen's apartment, monitoring police frequencies, and he has his own little app that tracks crime around the city. So he's not like taking care of himself mentally. He doesn't have any friends or family left. And this physically triggers like an unpredictable power mutations where he starts to feel a little volatile and unstable. It's almost like when he has the symbiote in the comic and some of the movies where his worst side comes out. Then you have the Punisher, and at the contrast, like this version of Frank Castle from his like ultra violent turn in One Last Kill just a couple months ago. And Frank Castle here, Punisher, he kind of borders on playing a straight man sidekick here. And there is like an undeniable snappy banter chemistry between Bernthal and Holland that keeps their scenes afloat. It's a really fun dynamic. But between this kind of fun-loving, goofy Frank Castle compared to One Last Kill Frank Castle, it's like a whiplash. But I thought their dynamic was fun overall. Then we have Sadie Sink. And this is a spoiler-free review, so I think part of the marketing is who she is. But if you think you know who she is, you're probably right. But she is the catalyst of like the DODC attacks, and I think she's pretty vicious in this. I was surprised how brutal she is. It's like, I think she takes over a pedestrian who gets hit by a car, and then she pulls this like brutal trick on Spider-Man like midway through the movie. It's pretty she seems like a pretty terrible person. But a lot of this comes down to, in the second half, that kind of brings the movie down for me personally. It's, we got this cool Spider-Man street level and, fighting and everything. And then we have the sprawling body swapping mind control mystery going on. So I was trying to balance a lot of these things like character grief and physical mutation, secret identity angst. Then you have like a multi-villain setup. It causes like towards the end of the movie for it to stutter under the pure narrative weight of it. There's a lot going on in this movie, maybe a little too much. And I think the villains are kind of lacking in this. I gotta be honest. You know how the comic book movies go. It's like, oh, this person's a bad guy, but this person's the real bad guy. And it's just, I think there's like just so much going on that it can't really establish like a great villain in this. And kind of even to me, I was looking forward to a Spider-Man focused movie, and it is in the first half. And it kind of drifts away from that a little bit. If I'm being honest, I think No Way Home is probably more of a Spider-Man movie than this, and it felt more consequential than this. A lot of it is just the basic table setting stuff for what's to come in the MCU. I think that kind of bogs down the movie a little bit for me. So it's like the Hand is in here, and I don't know why they're in here. Like they're Daredevil is like they're his villains, and then it's like, oh, I wonder why the Hand is here, and then it ends up they just work for Damage Control, which this isn't really a spoiler. They established that at the very beginning. I think it was just Cretton's way of like putting some more kung fu in this movie, because he brought in like Jackie Chan Stunt Team to design like the practical hand-to-hand fight choreography, and I guess Jackie Chan actually visited the set in London during rehearsals. So, but like I said, the action scenes, the way it's directed, just awesome. Heck, I think they were going for like a multiversal pivot instead of this. I'm glad we got the grounded stuff at the beginning anyway. There's like early reports like this book. It was supposed to be like this massive multiversal Null narrative. Null is being like the king of the symbiotes, but Holland and Feige push for like a more grounded reset. So I'm happy we got that in the first half of it. I mean, there are some interesting themes explored. I mean, you have to explore some of these themes when it comes to like a Spider-Man movie, because Peter's mutating powers aren't just like a comic book plot mechanic. They're like the visceral metaphor for his psychological grief. I mean, when you cut yourself off from human connection, your body literally rebels against you. I was hoping it would go a little further with that, but what we got was good for the context of the story they were telling. And of course, like Peter is trying to just eliminate Peter Parker. Nobody remembers Peter Parker, so he's just taking on Spider-Man full-time, using the suit as like an emotional anesthetic, but sort of like self-destruction disguised as martyrdom. But Brand New Day is a strange, fractured hybrid for me. On one hand, Destin Daniel Cretton delivers easily the most visually inventive, kinetic, and practical action sequences of Tom Holland's entire run. I mean, the camera work has weight, the isolation hits hard, and the set pieces show a director firing on all cylinders. On the other hand, the film is perpetually at war with its own studio mandate. Every time it tries to breathe as a grounded street-level character study, the MCU machinery forcefully like drags it back into an overstuffed setups, body-swapping chaos, and universe-building noise. So if you're wanting that top visual execution, snappy character banter, and fantastic practical stunts, there is plenty to love here. But if you're wanting like a tight standalone narrative reset that lets Peter Parker be Peter Parker, you'll walk away feeling like the studio couldn't get out of its own way. But overall, I still had a great time, so I'm giving Spider-Man Brand New Day a 3.5 out of 5. But what did you think of Spider-Man Brand New Day? Let me know down in the comments below. If you like this video, hit like and consider subscribing. You want to support the channel a little further, hit that join button down below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.